Okay, students, we had done autotropic nutrition and its step. Okay, we'll just revise that. And then there are some points that I want to tell you in the steps of autotropic nutrition, that is photosynthesis. Okay, in photosynthesis, I told you number one is activation of chlorophyll, and number two is solar energy is converted into chemical energy, which is in the form of ATP, and this ATP is used in the third step, that is reduction of carbon dioxide. So that is what we have done in the last class. Okay, now here one thing that I want to tell you is solar energy helps to convert actually ATDP into ATP. So solar energy from the sun, ATP is already in the cell, so it is converted into ATP. It's energy. So this process is called photophosphorylation. Remember this. Photophosphorylation means, photo means in the presence of sunlight. Phosphorylation means conversion of ADP into ATP is called phosphorylation. Okay, so that is what happens in the second step. And another step is, another thing is, in second step, water, you know that, isn't it? They get it from the soil. Water is converted into oxygen and hydroxyl, hydrogen and hydroxyl ion. Okay, and this is later it produces oxygen. Okay, this is called photolysis of water. Photo means with the help of solar energy. Lysis means to break. Water breaks, okay, and it produces ions, okay, and from here what is produced? Oxygen is produced, and you know oxygen is the byproduct of photosynthesis. Okay, so what happens in the second step? Photophosphorylation and photolysis of water. All right, and then the last step is this ATP that is produced is used in the reduction of carbon dioxide. So this is very important. Remember photophosphorylation and photolysis of water. Okay, so this is just the revision. Now next, the very important point that you should know in photosynthesis is, photosynthesis takes place in chloroplast, in the chloroplast, where the chlorophyll is present, and chloroplast is in the cells of the leaf. Now, how do they get carbon dioxide? Okay, what happens with the oxygen that is produced during the process of photosynthesis? And for that, we should know the anatomy of leaf, internal structure of leaf. Okay, now what happens? Now you see a leaf, if you cut the TS of the leaf, transverse section, and see it under the microscope, you see the cells in the upper part like this, arranged properly. So these cells are called upper epidermis. Okay, and they have cells like that only in the lower part also. This is called lower epidermis. Okay, if you cut the leaf, like if you have a leaf like this, and if you cut it and see this part under the microscope, you see the upper epidermis cell and the lower epidermis cell. And in the lower epidermis, you see the pores like this, which is nothing but stomata. Small tiny pores you find in the lower epidermis of dicot leaf is the stomata. And stomata is guarded by a special cell like this. These cells are called guard cells. It looks like they are guarding the stomata. That's why they are called guard cells. Okay. And in the upper part, you find a longer cells like this in 2 or 3 layers. It depends upon various family of the plant. Okay, like this, let's say. This is called palisade parenchyma cells. I think I've studied in class 9 about the tissue, the parenchyma tissue, okay, the complex tissue and all. This is palisade parenchyma, and you find here chloroplast. Lots of chloroplast, you get it here. Chloroplast. Okay, and lower part of the leaf, you find rounded cells, okay, where you see the air spaces in between them. There are spaces in between them. So this is called spongy parenchyma. Okay, here also you see the chloroplast, obviously. Okay, only thing is the upper part of the leaf, you find many cells together. Whereas in the lower part of the leaf, you find circular or oval cells with air spaces in between them. And wherever you find the veins, you see the xylem and phloem tissue. So this is the anatomy of the leaf. Okay. And the upper part of the leaf, I think you have noticed that it's green in color compared to the lower part of the leaf. That is because of they have more chloroplast and concentrated in the upper part of the leaf. And carbon dioxide enters inside the leaf through stomata. And oxygen that is produced during the process of photosynthesis comes out through stomata. So stomata is the very important part where exchange of gases take place. That is, carbon dioxide is very important for photosynthesis. So carbon dioxide from the air enters inside the cell through stomata, and oxygen that is produced, which is not used in the cell, that is the byproduct, it comes out from the leaf through stomata. Okay, that's why opening and closing of stomata is very important in this process of photosynthesis as well as respiration in plant. Okay, so that is how the cells in the leaf are distributed. Okay. Now see what happens is the next is opening and closing of stomata. Okay, now I told you stomata are the opening guarded by the guard cells like this. Kidney shaped guard cells, and they have the cells around like this. Accessory cells. Okay. So what happens during the daytime is, the guard cells, the inner part of the guard cells are thick, and the outer part of the guard cells, the outer wall is thin. Okay. And during the daytime, what happens is the water, by the process of endoosmosis, enter inside the guard cells from the adjacent cells. So when the water enters inside the guard cell, they bulge, turgid. They become turgid, fullinza. So when they become turgid, since this part is thin, they pull back. Okay, outer part is thin, so they pull back and opening of stomata take place. Okay, and since the stomatas are open, there is exchange of gases. This is very important. Okay, and what happens during the night time? There is no, the turgidity. What happens is not the turgidity. The in the guard cells, the food that is produced during the daytime lowers down. Okay, the ions also, they decrease, especially potassium ion and all. Okay, so what happens is the water starts to move out from the guard cells, making the guard cells flaccid. Okay, so when they become flaccid, they come closer. Okay, so when they become flaccid, the guard cells come closer. Okay, and then what happens is there is closing of stomata. Okay, so it is the guard cells that helps in opening and closing of stomata. Stomata is nothing but the opening. Okay, and because of the opening of the stomata, there is exchange of gases. And because of the exchange of gases, there is photosynthesis taking place, respiration taking place, transpiration taking place. That's why opening and closing of stomata in the plant is very important. Okay, so photosynthesis is very important in plant. Okay, and plants make their food, and because of that, all the other organisms get food in the world. Without photosynthesis, imagine there would have not been any life in this world. So photosynthesis is very important process. All right, so I hope you understood it. Thank you. Send me the feedback.